Well. Hello, dear listeners. CoachBusi back on another episode of Toast Talks with CoachBusi. Today, our guest is a young man who is totally amazing in the area of speech writing and delivery. Arnold is amazing, and those of you who've seen him, you know what I'm talking about. Those of you who haven't run into him yet, you are going to find out which club he's from, and I invite you to go and see exactly what I am talking about. Toastmaster Arnold, welcome to Toast Talks with Coach Busi.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. And I'm truly humbled by your introduction. When you say it like that, you give me a lot of pressure.
No pressure at all. Nothing that I have said is not true. It is absolutely on point. And I really do mean every word that I've said. Toastmaster Arnold, tell me, how did you become a Toastmaster? Where did the journey for you begin? And in your story, please tell us the name of the club that you belong to.
All right. So I joined Toastmasters back in, I think it was 2014. When I was still at high school, we used to have it as a club. So basically at high school level, so basically when you're a minor, they have it as Gavel's Club, which is sort of like an affiliate of the Toastmasters. So I joined Gavel's Club in my attempt to actually secure prefecture at school because, they always went through to Gavel's, those were the gentlemen at school, at boarding school, those were the smart guys, the really eloquent and well-spoken gentlemen. And that's what began my journey. I joined Toastmasters as a Gavel member back in 2014 and have since then elevated and grown and sort of extended my journey to where I am today. I'm currently part of the Victoria Falls Toastmasters Club. And yes, as some know it as Team Awesome. I'm sure you'll get to know why. That is the club I belong to. And yeah, I mean, that's been my Toastmasters journey.
Well, shout out to Team Awesome. Victoria Falls Toastmasters Club. It is a really good and fun club. The members, they really, honestly have a lot of fun. And the learning and experience when you visit that club is awesome. I believe Toastmaster Future was part of the formation, and anything that Toastmaster seems to lay her hands on seems to prosper. I believe you.
I like when you say that she was actually my mentor, so I guess we've got proof.
There you go. We do have proof. She is amazing.
Yes.
Toastmaster Arnold, when it comes to speech writing, because like I said, the way you put your speeches together in the writing first, we'll get to the delivery later, but if I was a really new Toastmaster and I'm listening to you, I would be intimidated. Would you be averse to giving us a few tips of how you actually craft your speeches?
All right. So basically, when it comes to how I write my speeches or craft them in your words, I've always been one with the words. I've always loved my poetry, my speech writing, and you might be surprised, even writing rhymes. I've always liked rap music. So because I spend so much of my time listening to a lot of this lyrical content, reading poetry, watching movies too, you'd be surprised. I sort of derive most of what I say from how I've been molded to think by the stuff I read, watch, and learn. So when it comes to writing speeches, I do not want to lie and give sort of the impression that might become very hard to fulfill. I've basically derived my logic behind writing from an inner sort of ability to just relate to my environment, to sort of pick out things from what happens around me. However, I do feel like if I was to try and extend this knowledge to somebody else, it all goes down to what you read, what you listen to, what you watch, who you talk to. All these things are usually the best muses when trying to develop a speech. It's all in what you expose yourself to that actually influences how well you can write a speech.
Do you know what I love the most about what you've said? It means that anyone can master that ability to be a really good speech writer, because we are all surrounded by these lyrics, words, poems, and a whole array of literary options that we can just draw from. My favorite from what you've just said is actually even movies. The number of people who spend a lot of time watching movies. I guess the kicker would be the kind of movies you are watching, whether you can draw anything from them or not. But I love how you framed it, because when I see a pattern, it becomes very easy for me to go and say, well, this is the pattern. So if I was a new Toastmaster and I'm about to go and deliver a speech, write a speech to deliver, I would take into account exactly what you've mentioned. And I would start listening intently to things that spark my interest and energize me. Do you take notes on some of these? If you say find a good phrase, are you one of those people who put it down on paper?
You know, it's funny. So I'm actually a lawyer by profession, but I'm surprisingly lazy, you might say. Notes have become a very difficult thing for me, but I would say I have some sort of record keeping to some extent. I do use the notes application on my iPhone, and that's maybe where I sort of write down some of the things. But I'll tell you what I am is the type of person who could literally go back to a particular scene in a movie, even 3 or 4 times, just to make sure I understand it. You understand? And I'm the type of person who literally watches every second of a movie. So if I'm watching a movie and I receive a call, I do not care if I'm watching it with 100 people. If you guys are watching it on my terms, we need to stop, pause. I take time to sort of appreciate every moment in my movies, in my songs, in what I'm reading, be it a novel, be it a book. I can't skip forward. So what it is to me is I relate to that. I sort of assume that sort of persona. And because it becomes one with me, as I watch it, I sort of understand it, I embody it. It then helps me to sort of recreate it. And I think it's even better that I then don't actually take notes all the time, because what it does is it allows me to be original. So I only get an idea, which I can always then recreate in my own context and in my own image. And basically then that molds my speeches. So yes, I do take notes sometimes, but just not all the time. Sometimes I basically understand the thing and I keep it with me. And whenever then I feel like I have to write a speech in that particular matter, it just, comes back to me. And without too much knowledge, I recreate it in my own words or in my own opinion. Yes, yes. So that's how I usually do it.
Absolute nuggets that you are dropping today. And I'm sure that when the listeners listen, even I had actually thought this might be for new speech writers, but I have a feeling that this is going to spark and ignite something even in more mature speech writers. So thank you very much for that. Did I hear you well say that you are a lawyer?
Yes, yes, yes. I'm actually a lawyer, and I'm practicing at the local firm in Victoria Falls. They call it Viringi and Associates. Yes, yes, yes.
So you show up in court, and are you that kind of a lawyer who shows up in court before the judge? And
so as you would have it, it's obviously inevitable that you have to show up in court. But because of why I chose the law, which is more for the corporate side of things, I rarely ever actually get into court. I'm more of your in the office and then sort of in the boardroom type of lawyer. Yes, I'm more of a business consultant type of lawyer. And I do conveyancing, property law, estates, which then call for you to get into court. But yes, I'm more of your out of court lawyer, although I do get into court when it's necessary. Yes.
Now, let us tie those two things together. You being a lawyer and you being a Toastmaster. Is there any relationship? Are there any benefits of one feeding into the other?
Yes, I'll tell you what. I never knew this up until I had to get into court. Now, I'll tell you something that everybody needs to carry with them. What you see in court with the judge or the magistrate is essentially the same thing you get out of Toastmasters, except the difference is in Toastmasters, we do it in a very accommodating and warm way. Picture this. A lawyer gets into court underprepared and underinformed. That becomes your nightmare. Judges, excuse me, have become so ruthless. If you are underprepared and you keep blabbering around, they can get to the point of literally throwing your case file back at you. They'll tell you, my guy, this is useless. Let's get ourselves in order again. Now, what Toastmasters has done for me is it's helped me articulate myself in a very brief and precise way. It's helped me make sure I get straight to the point because it's always been my weakness. I used to struggle with expressing myself in the most narrowest of ways. I always used to go round and around. Now, getting into that courtroom is a different experience altogether. Judges like precision, they like facts, they like directness. They don't want you to go up and down and over the hill. They just want you to get there, tell them what it is you need to say, and step aside. So that's what Toastmasters has done for me. Not only has it taught me to speak eloquently, it's taught me to pay attention to the words I say because every word in the wrong instance can either be an insult and in the right instance can be a compliment. Toastmasters has helped me place my words, speak properly, organize my ideas into a very structured and brief manner. And that's something I've continued to benefit from. So that's really, yes.
I love the way that you say you have learned how to be very concise in Toastmasters because when we are given those 5 to 7 minutes to give a speech, you don't have time for the up the hill, down the hill, around the hill kind of communication. And you really need to pack it all in the 5 to 7 minutes. It gets more interesting when it's a table topic session and you have 1 to 2 minutes. And if you're given something to speak on, we still want to hear an opening, the crunch of the matter, and a closing, all in the 1 to 2 minutes. You are absolutely on point. I am just really floored by the fact that judges are behaving as your evaluator. Only this is real life.
Exactly. And in this case, now you've got somebody's life at stake or somebody's business at stake. So it's a lot more ruthless, So coming from a warmer Toastmaster setup and into the court is essentially like life itself, coming from your mother's arms who holds you with the most greatest care and then into the real world. If you have that solid foundation, it makes your adjustment into the real world easier. So that's what Toastmasters has been for me, that initial motherly love that builds me up for the real world, which is court, that interaction with the judges and other lawyers, because other lawyers can be your greatest critic, So yes.
Right. Now, your analogy of coming out of your mother's arms into the real world and Toastmasters into the courtroom, the good part about what you've just said is just like when your mother releases you to the world, on a day that you're battered, on a day that you've had victory, on a day that something notable has happened, you still go back to your mom and you say, hey, mommy, today I nailed it. And she celebrates with you. On a day where you feel like you were battered, you go back and you get the love, you get the comfort. And that is also what Toastmasters does for you. And I have an inkling that is why you are still a Toastmaster, even though you've gone through quite a lot of it, you are still staying there. Because who divorces their mother? Who in their right mind divorces their mother?
Yeah. No, that's true. That's true. I think you've said it well, I feel like irregardless of how long I've been in the club or in the society, as you'd say, I've still felt this very.
Hold on, Arnold. I've got noise outside. We're going to need to.
No, that's all right. That's all right.
Can you hear it though?
No, not at all.
You can't hear the noise. Okay,
not at
so
all.
I think we might be okay. We'll cut this up. So just pick it up from where I said mothers. Okay.
Yes, so I was saying, yeah, I mean, it's a really good analogy, and I like how you say it there because when you think about it, no matter how long or regardless of how long I've been in Toastmasters, I feel like I've always got something new to learn. There's just so much going on. When you look at Toastmasters from the outside, you're probably thinking, well, these guys meet up week to week to just have speeches delivered and the likes. But once you have a good appreciation of it, you look into, excuse me, the pathway system. We've basically got modules set aside to take us through different lessons, different skills, and different character building sort of programs. So because of that, I find myself committed to this club for God knows how many years, because to me, I keep telling myself, Toastmasters will never stop being relevant. There's just always going to be so much more I can learn from it. And that's what keeps me here. The fact that I've not even learned, in my own opinion, I've not even learned half of what Toastmasters has to offer. And that's just something that's kept me here.
Keep going.
Yeah.
As someone who's slightly
Yeah.
ahead of you, it gets better. It really just keeps getting better. Apart from the speech writing, your delivery. I heard you in one of the clubs. I can't remember which one. We keep globetrotting in the Toastmaster world. And I heard you give a speech that I really felt was more of a masterclass. How do you get to deliver such eloquent speeches one after another? Give us some insights.
So basically, I must say, I'll sort of split it into two. The cheat code of it is that, as nature would have it, I am a fanatic, like I said, of poetry and of writing stories, of basically taking down quotes. So now what that does to me is whatever it is I task myself with delivering is something I've got a strong connection to. And I can tell you this, without having to read or prepare, as long as you speak or are tasked to speak about something you care about and can relate to, the job is very little. It's not so difficult. It's a very simple task. So let's start by saying the cheat code to it is I speak about things I can relate to. That makes my job a lot easier. Now, on the other hand, the thing that allows me in terms of eloquence is, as Toastmasters would teach us, preparation. I always take time to sit down and say, look, this is me trying to accustom myself to these words so that when I bring them on to the next person, they feel quite as deep as they feel to me as I write them. So it's always important to prepare. And the funny thing is with preparation is you do too much of it, you start to get bored with your own content. You do too little of it, you start to forget your own content. So there's always a way to sort of find yourself right in the middle. There's always a stage you can get to where you feel like, okay, I feel like I'm good, let me go for it. And that's just it. That's what's been sort of like the backbone to how I present. It's speaking about things I can relate to, and number two, making sure I prepare before I speak.
I am still baffled whether it's more the lawyer in you that comes out strongly or more the Toastmaster in you. But I'm going to settle and say it is just Arnold. And the tips that you have been giving us are going to really help, not just the new people, like I said, but everybody, because I like how you talk about speaking about things that are dear to you, things that evoke an emotion. In Toastmasters, we have all these little sayings that help us to remember. And one of the things is if it's not fun, it's not Toastmasters. You've spoken a lot about serious things, and people, I'm sure, if they are wise, they have taken pen to paper and they've made notes. Otherwise, they might have to keep coming to this particular post and watch it over and over and over again.
Well, we'd like that too, wouldn't we?
That would also be awesome. That would also be awesome. I would have no problems with that happening, actually. The more the viewers, the better it is for me. And it actually is absolutely helpful stuff. Now, I was going back to if it's not fun, it's not Toastmasters. Give me a time or what makes Toastmasters fun for you?
So, we have to deal with in my case in Zimbabwe, we have to deal with our economic realities on a day to day. So I can assure you, being at work and being out there is a very stressful thing. I mean, some
Mm,
days you get the good days, but in some days it's just the stressful ones. And what Toastmasters becomes is sort of like my refuge. It's the place I go to interact with other people and just, take a breather. So what makes Toastmasters so fun for me is it's a place I go to interact with like-minded people, to learn and share, and have a time of my life. Because
mm,
remember, in every Toastmaster session, we tend to have your table topic segment. Now,
yeah.
that on its own is just a fraction because we also do get to experience prepared speeches where through which you get to make people's minds enjoy their creativity and beautiful illustration. And then you get that table topic segment where you've got to watch people get off the cuff and just deliver impromptu speeches. All of this to me sort of cheers me up after a really rough and tough day. That's just what Toastmasters is for me. And I liked how you said we globetrot. I feel like you and I have met each other at different country meetings, basically an American Toastmasters meeting, one in Dubai, one in South Africa. And yeah, that's the other thing I like, getting to be in these different places through the people, getting to experience the energy in South Africa when they talk of Toastmasters, the energy in America when they talk of Toastmasters, and getting to network with different people. It's just a really amazing thing that Toastmasters does for me. And that's where I find it fun in Toastmasters.
Could not have said it better. What I say about Toastmasters is it's my happy place. I have
Exactly.
a few happy places. One of them is this amazing daughter of mine. She's just my happy place. And then
Oh,
Toastmasters, and of course my faith is my other anchor and happy place. I am
exactly.
going to give you a table topic, and that's how
Oh,
we're going to wrap this up.
all
It's going to be a
right.
hypothetical question. If you had the option to either get the superpower to fly or to be invisible, which would you choose? Toastmaster Arnold.
I would choose the superpower to fly. Now, the reason why you might ask me this is I've always found invisibility as a facade in some instances. I'm a very confrontational and straight up person, and I don't know if it comes with being a lawyer or if it comes with my nature as a human being. I like to be all up in your face. I want you to talk to me. I love, I love loyalty, I love honesty. And I feel like all of these are accommodated by the ability to confront people. So, what would flying help me do? It would help me go to the different places I feel like I'm needed, to be able to face and embrace the people I feel like deserve my attention. It'll give me the ability to soar up high in the sky, to look at the world from a different perspective, where I'm not a player in the field, but I'm a spectator from right up top, to see the things I could do or avoid doing, to see that pothole or that hole in the road, and literally go around it instead of falling into it. Flying would allow me to get perspective to this world. That's why I would take the superpower of flying than invisibility, because invisibility would rob me of what my character lives by, which is confrontation, honesty, and loyalty. Back to you.
I love it. Now, anyone who heard that is probably going to doubt the fact that you did not know that I was going to give you a table topic, let alone that that was going to be the topic that I was going to give to you. Dare I say, I didn't know myself up until I got to that point that, you know what? This channel is to showcase the best of what Toastmasters can do. And Arnold, you just hit a home run right there. I
Thank you.
was captivated, I was entertained, I was energized. I got right there with your vibe, and I appreciate the way that you took that table topic. So
Thank you. Thank you
thank
so
you.
much. Thank you. Thank
Thank you
you.
indeed. And you see, with table topics, it's one of those that there is no real right or wrong answer to that question. But what it challenges a person is to make a decision, own their decision, and then depending on what you have fed yourself with and what your true intrinsic values are, That's how we will know whether you can take a table topic or not.
Yeah,
And
that's
Arnold,
true.
apart from being a lawyer, you know Toastmasters has done a lot of cultivating and teaching you to be able to do what you just did. Speak to someone who is on the fence about joining Toastmasters. And I'm going to give that to you as we wrap up.
All right. Wait, so please come again with the question. Is it should I basically give my opinion on why somebody should join Toastmasters?
I am asking you to motivate them.
I'll tell you what. I don't know if I say this right. They say you can take the horse to the water, but you can't force it to drink.
Yes.
I could always tell you all these wonderful things about Toastmasters, but it might not push you to join. So what I'd rather do is let you in on some of the most powerful minds this world has to offer. If you ever wanted to be Nelson Mandela, if you ever wanted to be Robert Mugabe, if you ever wanted to be one of Barack Obama, all of these wonderful speakers, you would need to have the skill set to be able to speak and convince people that whatever you're saying is worth their time. If you wanted to be a businessman, if you wanted to make sure that you move mountains in the business arena, you get boards to shake their heads and clap their hands in your regard. What you would need is a foundation and a skill set, and that's what Toastmasters gives you. It gives you the ability to wear your confidence on your sleeves when you embrace whatever audience and have to speak to them. And I can tell you this, because of the foundation I've got, because of the foundation I've got with Toastmasters, I've been able to speak in front of thousands and thousands of people without actually realizing the difference between speaking in front of thousands and speaking in front of five. What you will get from Toastmasters is that confidence that will allow you to grace any stage put before you. But not only that, it is the skill set to be able to deliver whatever presentation with so much eloquence and conviction that no matter who you bring it before, they will clap their hands. Just a simple sort of word of motivation. In my first year of law school, won the inter-university mooting competition. And I want you to know, I was in my first year competing against people at all levels, all the way up to the final year. But because Toastmasters geared me up with how to speak in front of an audience, that was it. Got there, delivered, and there you were. We made it work. And that's exactly it. Every place I've been, because Toastmasters has given me confidence, I don't think twice about taking up an opportunity. So that's what I want to say to somebody out there. I want to say this to you. It's to say, you don't realize how much Toastmasters can change your life up until it starts to do its work. So if you don't join, you never get to know what it is you stand to gain. But you will be guaranteed of what you stand to lose, which is that exposure to this type of information. So if you're arguing and debating about this, might I be the judge to say, decision overruled, come for Toastmasters. So that's just it.
Decision overruled. In case you're still on the fence, come on over to the enlightened side. Come on over to the confident side. Come to that place where your voice can go out with eloquence.
Exactly.
And the message that you have goes out. Imagine getting to the pearly gates and St. Peter's saying, what did you do on planet Earth? This is what was put inside you. What did you do with it? And you say, nobody was listening to me. Nobody could hear me. Or I never even opened my mouth to start saying it. After having been on planet Earth, that would be a sad, sad entrance through the pearly gates. And that is my motivation for today. Think about the things that you're supposed to be saying and you are failing to do so, whether it's in front of thousands, like Arnold says, or in front of 5 family members who need you to redirect the way conversation is happening in the house. come on over. Be a Toastmaster. Some of us, like Arnold, we are here for life. Some of you might be coming for a season to get a skill set and move on. We will take you on, but a lot who have done that go and they still come back because you never divorce your mother, if you remember where we started. Arnold, thank you so much for joining me today. What a delightful conversation.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm really, really honored to have been invited to this here podcast. Thank you so, so much.
It is my pleasure. And these listeners are just gleaning on what is being dropped. We had Verity Price the other day, and I tell you, the connection that I made with when I interviewed her, her story was also one that was very dear to her. And you gave us the tip. So that is probably why she made it all the way to world champion. So thank you very much for that, Arnold.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Who knows? I might be the next one now that I know what the secret sauce is. Dear listeners, until the next time, this is CoachBusi signing off, having been graced by the wonderful, amazing, eloquent Toastmaster Arnold. If you're in Victoria Falls and you need a lawyer, bye, listeners.
Cheers. Thank you. Goodbye.